That's Let Me Know from Mabel on BBC Radio Kent. It's 22 minutes to 8 tonight. And I said at the start of the show, I'm looking forward to my next guest because magic is one of my favourite things. I'm Erika North in for Dominic King this week, and I get to interview these great guests that Dom normally has through the studio doors during the week here on BBC Radio Kent. And when I heard that I had the opportunity to interview my next guest, Ashley, I got very, very excited, obviously, because do you know what? This is what it's all about. Magic on the radio is what we need. His name is Ashley Green. Ashley, welcome to the show tonight. Thank you very much for being my guest this evening on BBC Radio Kent.
Hello, Erica. Well, thank you for having me. It's super fun to be here.
Well, it's super fun to have you. Tell people a little bit about where they might have seen you before, because I know you regularly perform your magic and all your tricks in Canterbury, don't you?
Yeah, so I perform at the Houdini's Magic Bar. We've got two bars, Canterbury and Broadstairs. People will probably see me like doing stuff like there. I've been there for kind of the past 3 years and it's really good. Like, it's so fun. It's kind of how my career started at that place. Absolutely love it. And then from there, it kind of took off, to be quite honest. I've done a few bits on YouTube and then I appeared on an American TV show during 2020, that famous year. So lots of bits. So someone's bound to have seen me somewhere. I'm one of those people that has that familiar face where someone's like, ha, I recognise you, but where from? Because I'm just everywhere all over the place.
How did you get into magic in the first place? Because it's one of those things, I've always thought magic was cool. But, you know, people like Simon Cowell have had a really patchy relationship with magic and performance. And I'm like, why don't people think it's brilliant like I do? How did you, as a youngster, starting out into the world of performance, get attracted by magic?
I'll be honest, I'll answer the first thing of why most people don't like magic, and quite frankly, is because magic sucks. Most people don't know how to perform it well. It's why it's true. It's why you get like the stereotypical, oh my gosh, another card trick. And it just gets a little bit boring and tedious. It's why I set up my other company. And we just hit 95 countries last week, which was cool. And we teach magicians to actually do it properly and present it well. But anyway, I got into it through doing circus schools, actually. So an even strange story of like how I used to do like magic and mind reading, and that's what I do now. And I got into it, Erica, through unicycling and juggling and tightrope walking. So equally another weird route in. It was an after-school club run by my circus teacher, Paul Incredible, another fantastic magician here in Kent, and it went from there. I took up the card tricks and the boring ones I mentioned earlier. And it was just really, I loved it. Being autistic, I found it hard to talk to people, and the card tricks themselves were just a great way of just being able to speak to someone, easing myself into conversation. And then it, yeah, like I say, went crazy. I got on TV for a little bit. I managed to speak to people like Uri Geller, which is just insane. You know, the crazy spoon bender from a while back.
Of course I do.
Yeah,
of course
it's
I
been
do.
a weird journey.
How incredible. I mean, you mentioned Uri there. Was there a magician who you remember watching when you were growing up that made you think, I'd really like to do that? That looks incredibly cool.
I mean, there was Yuri, but I never looked at him and went, that looks incredibly cool. I never thought,
Bending
you know what, I
spoons
want to
wasn't
go
your
around
thing.
ruining everyone's cutlery. Yeah. No, I'm not that guy. Although in Blackpool, we've got many stories where we sit there and try all the Yuri Geller stuff and we leave and all their cutlery's broken. But yeah, like, I love that. And Darren Brown is a fantastic performer. We met him when we done our first show, my first ever stage show at Houdini's Magic Bar. Darren popped along and he's so nice. Like, he's such an authentic guy. Like, he's
to Canterbury.
Honestly, he's
he
lovely.
came to Canterbury.
Yeah, that's it.
That's incredible.
Yeah, he was
you are
performing at the Marlow,
exceptionally lucky.
and I know. It's luck. That's all it is. That's what magic boils down to at the end of the day. It's just a little bit of practice, but mostly luck and just like wafting your way through.
That must have made you terrified to have doing the sort of performances you're doing, having Darren Brown in the audience.
Nah, well, I mean, he wasn't in the audience. Just to clarify, he didn't buy tickets because he was also doing a show at the same time. He literally popped along to say hi. But it was just nice. Like, this is what's great about the magic community. I don't know any other community at all where you get someone who's struggling financially, or you get someone who's a massive superstar like Dynamo or Darren Brown. When you go to places like the Magic Circle or conventions, everyone will sit around, everyone will chat. Like, at the end of the day, we're all just humans, and magic is one of like the best art forms in general where you can just go up to anyone and just have like an authentic chat. Like we recently, like my company I run, the Successful Mentalist it's called. We have a podcast, and we outreach to some of the biggest names in magic, and we've been like great to get some of the best Las Vegas performers on there, like Colin Cloud, who's performing with Double America's Got Talent, winner Shin Lim, and then we got the famous DMC Drum and Money Coots, who had the Netflix series Death by Magic. And yeah, like honestly, you reach out to people and they're like, "Yeah, cool, you're a magician. Let's chat. Let's hit up and have a little jam." Like, it's honestly so nice and so friendly. It's what I love about it, that real social side.
And I suppose nothing would make you nervous because you've actually performed magic on Kent's cricketer Sam Billings as well, a name many listeners to BBC Radio Kent will know. Did he have a mind of steel when you were working with him?
I'll be honest, no, he didn't. And if he's listening, Sam, I've still got your Amazon account passwords. Yeah, no, he popped in to the Magic Bar. He was dressed up. It was a fancy themed night, so I was dressed as a goth. He was dressed as a bride or a bridesmaid or something like that. And he was like, "Oh, come on, read my mind." And I was like, "Right, here you go. Here's your Amazon account password, Sam." And he's like, "What?" He messaged me afterwards on Instagram and he was like, "Dude, that's crazy.
No.
Please tell me." And I was like, "No, I'm never going to tell you. You can sit and suffer."
My goodness. That just blows my mind a little bit. I'm a bit scared about the fact we're going to do a trick in just a moment, but there you go. How's the relaxing of rules been for magicians? Because, of course, so many performance arts have suffered over the last 12 months. It's been a terrible time for anyone working in these sort of arenas when you're working in a theatre like yourselves. And, of course, it is quite small Houdini's in Canterbury, isn't it? It's not a huge stage. How have you managed with COVID?
Yeah, so I mean, me personally, I like honestly, we mentioned luck and how I'm just like this weird mystical lucky person, and I done all right throughout the pandemic because I shifted to doing virtual entertainment for the first 6 months. I was just really honing my craft. Like entertainment in general just went down, and if you could adapt to doing online entertainment through different mediums, it was fantastic, and it went brilliantly. And yeah, it was literally after 6 months of just trial and error, I managed to get picked up by a couple of companies, and then I got booked internationally. So I started doing shows like all from my bedroom, may I add. Like literally, my setup where I am now is in my bedroom, and yet I was performing at these high-end companies in like LA, in Israel, in India, and Paris. And then I'm like, this is so funny because I'm literally performing next to my bed. Between shows, you could just go to sleep and then wake up. But how it's changed at the moment with obviously COVID relaxing, it's a difficult one. And this is what I really love about Houdini's is they really make sure to look after their customers. I mean, it's why it's one of the best places I go to socialize as well. Like before the pandemic, that customer care is like amazing. But even now, they make sure that everything's clean. And this is one of the things for us entertainers. Even though things are relaxing, we've still got to be aware. Our job, and what I say to people, our job is to entertain people. And if you've got someone at an event who is a little bit scared at the moment and worried about social distancing and all of the rules relaxing, you've just got to make sure that everyone's happy and you accommodate for everyone. That's why at any event I do, like there's so much that goes into it, like the risk assessment, all of the stuff. Like I'm going to events now with like rubber gloves and hand sanitizer and masks for people if they want it. Like all this stuff, like beforehand, you could just rock up and it's like, "Hey, I'm here to do a show." And now it's like, right, have I got some gloves? Have I got a hazmat suit? Have I got my PPE? It's like the list goes on and on and on. But it is really is just making sure.
It is. We've all got to keep safe at the moment, and we don't want to come out of lockdown too quickly and risk, that spike going up again. But do you know what? I do have a couple more questions for you, but I'm going to hit the pause button on the chat because I want you to have enough time to do some magic for us on the radio. So can I ask you to do a trick for us now, please, Ashley?
Oh, go for it. Erica, I thought about this and I thought rather than doing like a little trick, rather than me showing you something, I thought instead what I would do is maybe something for you. And is there anyone else in the studio with you at the moment?
No, I'm working from home, so I'm on my own with a
lovely.
cat in Herne Bay. And Max, my
Herne Bay.
producer, is in the studio, I believe, on his own at the moment. I don't know who else would be there with him. Might be Leo Ulf, who does the show after me. He might be there at the moment. But I think Max is
I am
isolated
here
in a
as
very
well.
COVID safe way. He's there. He's just said in my ears that he's there.
Hello, Max.
And
Hello, hello. I'm coming onto the airwaves too. I've been summoned onto the air, and I can agree, Erika. Yeah.
and that's the magic of radio, and that we all sound like we're in the same room. We're actually miles apart. But Ashley, I'm intrigued to hear and see what you're going to do. I'm saying see what you're going to do, but I can't see you. This is blowing my mind already.
Well, let's do something. You know, what I perform now, I mentioned silly little tricks, and we will try something with you, Max, and you, Eric, as well, with both of you here. And in fact, every single one of you listening right now, all of you listeners to the radio, pay attention because I'm talking to you right now. Even my granddad sat at home in the armchair. I am speaking to you, so pay attention. Please don't fall asleep because you're old. So I want all of you to listen very carefully. That's including you, Erica, and you, Max. Okay?
I'm listening. I'm ready.
I'm listening.
Good. It's not a trick, so this could go horribly wrong, but I thought I'd try just an intuitive test. It's what is kind of linked to the old psychic testing they used to do back in the day. I mentioned Uri Geller earlier, and this will really distinguish to see if anyone is naturally more intuitive than anyone else. So I'm going to think of an image in my head, and I want you guys to see if you can pick up on it, okay? Now, pay attention very carefully. So you, Erica, you, Max, even my granddad in the sofa, and everyone listening right now, I'm thinking of something. Now, I'm going to give you a few clues, and I want to see if you can guess what it is. What I'm thinking of is two shapes inside the other, two different shapes, one inside the other. Now, they're not too complex like a heart or a star, much more minimalistic and simple. Maybe, Max, like a square, but please don't go for anything I've said. Come up with two different shapes, two simple shapes, and put one inside the other now. Max, Erica, have you got two different shapes?
I've got mine.
Yes.
Now, I just for the pure purposes of rounding this out, I want everyone listening with their shapes to give them both different colours. And again, Max and Erica, when you've got yours, just say yes.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I've got mine as well. I'm ready.
They're in my head. I haven't drawn them, but they're in my head. Yes.
Yeah, same.
Good. So, like I said, an intuitive test. So this isn't me doing a trick. This is me thinking of something. Every single person in Kent is going to try and have a go at guessing what I'm thinking. Now, first of all, to see if we're on the same wavelength, if you thought of the colours red or green, give yourself a huge round of applause. And just out of curiosity at this stage, Max and Erica, what colours were you thinking of?
Orange and yellow.
Oh, miles away. You're one of those weird people. I'm going to come back. And Max, what were you thinking of?
I can't lie. I did have a red in there. I had red and blue. You got me on the red.
Red
You've
and
got me.
blue. Cool. It's not me getting you. It's you guys reading my mind. I think we've just proven that Erica has the least psychic abilities at all. Erica, there's something coming through. You don't know someone called Jane, do you? Someone called Jane?
I do have a friend called
getting-
Jane. Yes, I do.
Who's Jane to you? What relation is that? Who is she?
I used to work with her about 20 years ago. She's a friend of mine, and she was actually texting me before the show began today. I've been chatting to her today on and off.
So that's why it's coming to mind. If you could stop thinking about her a second. Bloody hell, I was 5 years old when you last spoke to her. If you could stop thinking about her, because it's putting me off here. So forget about Jane, put that away. For the rest of you, you've got these shapes in mind. Now, I said this is not going to be me showing you something. This is you and a test to see if you can read my mind. If right now you guys were thinking of either a triangle or a circle, give yourself a huge round of applause, because that means... So you have significant psychic ability. So well done to all of you listeners. If you got either a triangle or a circle, and if you got it bang on, well done to all of you. And just
Well
out
done,
of
everyone.
curiosity to settle it, Erica, I know you're going to be wildly wrong. There's no faith in you. But guys, what were the shapes that you were thinking of?
No, I had a triangle in a circle.
I did as well. Yeah, they've got both of us.
Erica, you might be psychic after all. Well, with that, I want to say, actually, hang on a second. What were your colours again, Max, out of curiosity?
Mine was red and blue.
Red and blue. I feel like you changed it from red. No, you probably changed it from purple. Would you be a Sagittarius by any chance?
What would that make my birthday?
You'd be born towards the end of the year, probably around like December.
Yeah, you may be right. Yes, you may be right.
Can you think of your birthday a second?
I am indeed. I'm thinking of the presents
Please
as well.
stop thinking about Jane, Erica, because it's really throwing me off when I'm trying to do something with Max over here. Max,
Yeah.
for the viewers out there, we are in completely different parts of Kent. I have never met you and you have never met me, right?
Right.
Well, I mean, can you confirm to make sure?
Like, yes, yeah, no, I said that like a question. I can confirm.
I just want to make sure for the skeptics out there.
Right.
Cool, I'll pay you later for that, Max. Max, if you could focus on your birthday, is this something like... What would you be? Somewhere between the third... This was December, right?
Right.
Somewhere between like the 13th and 14th, if I'm not... Somewhere between the 13th and 14th?
You're close. You're very, very close.
I don't know
Is
when
it
your birthday
exactly
is, Max,
between
so-
the 13th and 14th? No. This is... No, sorry, I'm slightly wrong. I might be wrong on this, Erica. Max, is it the 12th of December?
You may have just outed my birthday on the air, Ashley. You're right.
There we go. So
At
thank
least
you
How
so
did
much.
you do that, Ashley? That's incredible.
Psychic abilities, Erica. Real life psychic abilities. And Max, happy birthday. No, you've got to wait till snow.
Oh, and
Wow.
for the skeptics, I don't think my birthday is anywhere on social media, but at least you don't know the year I was born.
My
There we go.
goodness. Yeah,
I
that would have been
wouldn't be so
dangerous doing
rude.
that with me. Thank you, Ashley, for not guessing my birthday, because that would have struck fear into my heart. But isn't that amazing? That's incredible. Thank you very much for doing that on the radio with us tonight. And I hope if anybody played along and had some fun with that, I urge you to go and see Ashley performing live at Houdini's in Canterbury. I wanted to ask you before I have to say goodbye, Ashley, how did you get into the magic circle? Is that something difficult to achieve?
I sold my soul to Satan. No, I
I
applied.
don't believe we
and I
shouldn't make
sent
jokes
on
about
a,
that. No. People are going to complain to me. Very careful, Ashley.
Oh God, what have I started, Erica? I've gone on and just displayed my psychic abilities. I've outed everyone. Oh, I'll leave. No, I went on. This is the boring option. I went online. I filled out the application form, and then I done an exam and passed. Easy as that. No, it's
Amazing.
great. And yeah, and now I just do like the weddings and corporates across Kent. So if anyone listening wants any entertainment, ashleygreenofficial.com. That's me.
What's next for you in the world of magic, Ashley?
My UK tour with my business partner Aidan. We're going to travel around the UK, various theatres up to the north of England and the south of England, and do our theatre show. It's on the horizon. It's just with theatres reopening. It's been a little bit delayed, so expect it 2023. But in the meantime, in the next few years, I'm just going to crack on, like I said, doing the corporate entertainment, entertaining companies kind of around the world now, which is pretty crazy. And cracking on with the weddings. It's fun. It's good fun.
And
Like honestly, I love it.
Still playing. I hope at Houdini's in Canterbury, because we'd miss you otherwise.
Always.
Good stuff.
I've got a small place in my heart.
Remind us one more time how people can find out more about that tour and follow you if they wish to on social media or anything like that. What's your website, Ashley?
Yeah, so it's www.ashleygreenofficial.com. Former granddad. No, we don't do fax or messenger pigeon. And alternatively, for those young, hip people on social media, you can find me, Ashley Green _mindreader at Green Mindreader. There you go. There's all the plugs, Erica.
Thank you, Ashley. I greatly appreciate it. Ashley Green, their Canterbury-based magician, doing magic and mind reading on the radio, something I bet you didn't expect when you started listening to this show tonight on Wednesday evening on BBC Radio Kent. Love that to bits. Let's just dip in, shall we? Just the last few minutes of this hour, I want to tip